Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So, Derek, and the date is finally here. There is a brand new release of Mega Man 64 recompiled for PC. If you missed the video some months ago, I did a version of this video on the 0.10 alpha release, which is basically just a proof of concept. It was fun to take a look at, but it definitely had a lot of glitches and bugs. It wasn't something I would call playable. That is not a knock against the alpha release, these things all take time, but as of this morning, there is a new version of the game out, which is absolutely rock solid, stable, and like 99% of the way there to being a perfect Mega Man 64 recomp. That's exactly what we're going to be taking a look at today, because this game, honestly, along with Mega Man Legends 2 and The Legend of Tron Bonne, absolutely some of my favorite 3D games of the era. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, got a Patreon link down below as well. And remember not to fall off any cliffs in your real life unless you have a ship waiting for you underneath. Now this recap is done by RaieFox, and I will leave a link in the description below to the actual GitHub page so you can grab the actual executable, bring your own legally owned copy of Mega Man 64 along for the party, and then just start playing this thing. I have played through a decent amount of it, I've saved my game, come back into it, and have absolutely no issues, bugs, or other things that would break any of the progression. Now I definitely haven't finished this game, but it's one of those things I don't really see anything that would be stopping anyone from trying, and on the GitHub page there are still a few small visual glitches listed, but otherwise it should be 100% playable from start to finish. And that is absolutely amazing, because I will say this game originally on PlayStation 1 is a ton of fun, and in Duck Station looks absolutely incredible when you get enhancements going, but there is a lot to love about the N64 version of the game, and this absolutely looks stunning in its higher resolution with all of its quality of life improvements. The one thing you still have to deal with, even though it has been cleaned up, is the overall kind of tanky controls of Mega Man here. Not as bad as something like Resident Evil, but this game was definitely made in an era in which those controls reign supreme, so you're still going to have to play around with those just a little bit. But as far as the overall presentation and quality of Mega Man 64 recompiled is concerned, everything here just seems to be 100% buttoned up, outside of a few seams in the textures that we'll see later on in the video. This is definitely one that I think would 100% benefit from getting a 4K texture pack, and I've looked and didn't see any out there, so if you know of one and I just missed it, leave me a comment down below, because this does have mod support. And even though these textures are definitely a vibe, and I really do love them, you'll see as we get into some of the outdoor areas later, some of the seams on the textures can get a little bit, I wouldn't say messy, just kind of actually broken up, where you see white lines between them. But that really is a very minor complaint in what is an exceptionally good version of Mega Man 64 that you can sit down and play on your PC today. And as far as before you ask if this works on Steam Deck, I have not tried it yet, but basically every other recomp has, so I wouldn't be surprised if this one wasn't the save. And I love that the Reaverbot just basically spins himself out of existence there and blows up against a wall. But something about Mega Man 64 has always stuck with me. I've always loved the entire Mega Man Legends franchise, and I was absolutely disappointed when Mega Man Legends 3 got cancelled on the 3DS, because I wanted to see where this thing was going. But this is the next best thing to getting an actual new Mega Man Legends game. And I like to say it in videos, but this is why retro gaming is making a comeback still. We have so many amazing new versions of classic games that we can play on PC, and you're going to be getting more and more of them, because we just saw that Pilot Wing 64 was 100% decompiled. I think you're going to be seeing some action on that soon. Now going into the actual menu, here you'll see there is the basic suite of settings that we see in almost all of the recomps and PC ports. You can adjust the general settings, bind your controls to whatever you want, depending on what controller you're using. You might want to switch that up a little bit, but for an Xbox Series X controller, bound perfectly fine for me. You have your graphics options as well as full screen or windowed, and you can definitely extend the game out to 16:9, but every once in a while you will see a little bit of culling or popping at the edges that could probably be solved in a new version of this. But otherwise, I really don't have any complaints. Mega Man 64 is a ton of fun, and here on PC now absolutely way more playable. Let's do the first of two soundtrack samples, because honestly the audio here is a bit clearer than it would be on an N64, but come back because I got a lot more of Mega Man 64 recomp to show you.
What is it, Mega Man? I'm picking up strong energy readings. Is it some kind of barrier? Is there a switch for the barrier anywhere close by? Don't give up. It's gotta be around somewhere.
I mean, it sounds like Mega Man 64 and the audio quality is definitely a little bit lower than PlayStation 1, but before you say, why didn't somebody just decide to statically recompile the PlayStation 1 version of the game, the tooling really isn't there compared to N64 recomp tools, so that's basically why also the developer just wanted to spend his time on this one. I would love to see static recomps or PC ports of Mega Man Legends 2 as well as the Misadventures of Tron. Right now, I am happy to have Mega Man 64 fully recompiled. Now, when I did say that there are still a few tiny visual glitches here, you will see the textures in the actual ground, you can see the seams on them, and that's why I think maybe a texture pack would definitely help that out, make the game look a little bit more modern, but it's one of those things. It is the most minor of bugs, the developer did mention it on GitHub, and I'm sure it will get cleaned up, but just don't forget, back in the day, these things ran at 240p on CRT televisions, and if there was any sort of weirdness in textures, it would basically be smoothed over by having an electron beam draw the image, not an LCD screen like you're watching it on today. But it really is a very small thing, but it is something that you're definitely going to notice, so I did want to point it out. And I'm sure some of those textures could get tightened up a little bit to actually eliminate those seams. But it's kind of fun in a way because you actually get to see how the world's put together. Now, like I said earlier in the video, this is going to work 100%. I saved my game, I quit out, I reloaded it, no issues whatsoever. So you can definitely just kind of sit down, play Mega Man 64 start to finish in whatever order you want. As far as if you want to sit there and just run the whole thing from start to finish without saving whatsoever, not advisable but kind of dangerously fun. Or if you want to play this across the next 2 weeks, you're going to be able to do whatever you want with it. Now, as far as the performance is concerned, I will say this runs at a rock solid stable frame rate, and clearly it is higher than the N64 version of the game or the PlayStation 1 version. And even though we have a lot of nostalgia for those machines, I'm the first to admit, sometimes going back in and playing them, you realize that the frame rate was way worse than you remember it. Because back in the day when we were kids, we didn't really care about what a frame rate was, we just wanted to play new video games. But sometimes when you jump into a game that is almost 30 years old, you realize and think to yourself, that definitely didn't run anywhere near as well as I actually thought it did. And that is why all of these recomps and PC ports are definitely important, not only to give us a better experience, but honestly there's a lot of people discovering retro for the first time right now that are a little bit younger than we are, and it really is because I think, while I'm not trying to crap on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, this generation's of game has definitely been a little bit copy and paste, paint by numbers, and people are definitely noticing and getting a little bit bored with it, and they don't want to stop playing video games, so they go and look what else they can play that maybe they missed from back in the day. And these recomps just absolutely allow people to jump into a game and at least get an experience that would be considered modern, at least on the frame rate and aspect ratio standards. And that definitely is fun, because if you think about it this way, if you didn't grow up with 4x3, if you didn't grow up with slow frame rates, it really is hard to play a game for the first time that way. And as far as this boss battle is concerned and all of the controls, no real latency in it to speak of, even if Mega Man 64 really isn't a fast twitch game. It just controls and plays exactly how you would want it to, minus the fact that obviously Mega Man has a little bit of a tankiness to his controls, and a little bit of a Tom Selleck mustache there in his shadow of his mouth. But let's go to the second of two soundtrack samples, one of my favorite tracks in any Mega Man game as far as the Legends franchise is concerned. But come back because I got a couple more cutscenes to show you. I'm going to try to convince you to play this game if you've never played it before. But enjoy! I've always loved the shopping mall music because it's something you don't really expect out of a game from N64 in that era, just kind of that smooth jazz, a little bit of an elevator music soundtrack, if elevator music was made for malls as well, which it basically is. And as we actually go into the ship here and talk to Roll, I just love how well this game is aged and its overall graphical stylings. Yes, the models are very low polygon. Roll's fist there is basically just a couple of boxes stacked together, but honestly the charm holds up because it was never trying to be realistic, it was always trying to be stylistic, and I think that really does does aid in this game feeling way more modern than it actually is. And when you get the 3D models over top the 2D digitized planes there, kind of like an RE except in Mega Man, it just 100% works. It has this cartoonish nature, almost like a Saturday morning cartoon, and I absolutely love seeing it here on PC. And that really is the fun thing. Some games just end up looking better as they age than others. And I think Mega Man 64 just absolutely nails the brief when it comes to feeling both retro as well as stylistically modern at the same time. Because if somebody made this game today in the same aesthetic and basically said they were trying to recapture the PlayStation 1 or N64 era, people would absolutely be stoked at what the game looks like, and I think it would really review well. If you tell me down below, has Mega Man 64 and by extension Legends graphics held up in 2026? Do you think they're a bit aged now? But basically, if you want to play this one, the link is in the description below. Go to the releases tab and grab the 0.90 version of the Recomp. Don't make the mistake and grab the 0.10 version, or else you're going to have a way more broken time. But honestly, I love all of these recomps and PC ports, and I'm definitely stoked that Mega Man 64 is now basically 100% playable. But even in this game, you have to deal with government bureaucracy. It never ends. Short of that, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.